Alright, we got some new Youthberk support, not just new Youthberk, but entirely new Youthberk ride line, along with a new Revel form. A little context here, I stopped playing Youthberk around the time Full Blast released because I thought that, like, Youthberk has always been very linear as a deck. Like, when Tempest was the best one, it was Tempest. I just felt that, like, Full Blast fully made the play style way too linear. Like, if you didn't Full Blast, it was over. Like, you could not win anymore. And because of that, I stopped playing the deck. But we have a teammate, Steve, who is very proficient with the deck and honestly is like one of the best Youthberk players I know. So I'm very happy for him that he got new support, and I'm also very happy because this support could be used in a premium build. But I'm stalling. Let's actually go over the support here. We have this, which is Unsullied Eyes Youth. It's the new grade 0, has the same effect as all the other starters, and it doesn't need to be used in the ride line, so you can use anything here. And it'll probably be the Thagrea starter. Next up, we have Squire of Spear Streaks Youth. Auto, when this unit is rode upon by a Sorrowful Ardent Light Youth, costs Soul Blast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from among them and reveal it. Put it into your hand if it's a card with Youthberk in its card name, and call it to Rigard Circle if it's a grade 2 or less unit card. Shuffle the deck. So it's pretty simple. It's a top 5 for basically the exact same thing as the old one, because for those of you that haven't been playing Youthberk or don't know about Youthberk, the old ride line is almost the exact same thing, except that looks at top 3, and you add Youthberk to hand, or you call it grade 2 or less. But this one's top 5, so it's quite literally a power cut version of the old grade 1, and it's a fine skill. Like, you're guaranteed to find something. Next up, we have grade 2, which is Sorrowful Ardent Light Youth. When this unit is run upon by a unit with the Revoldress ability, costs Energy Blast 3. Choose a grade 2 or greater card, or unit card from your drop, put into your hand. So this is basically the exact same thing as the Youthberk grade 2. The only difference is that this is Energy Blast 3 to add the card back to your hand instead of CB1, which is a lot better because energy is more free than Counterblast. So yeah, not much to say here. Good card. Makes a lot of your Revel forms or other things, other grade 2 or graders, into really good discard fodder. Now we have the big one, Youthberk Skyfall Arms Rebuild. This is the new grade 3. He has the ability Revoldress. At the end of the battle this unit attacked, perform one of the following. Choose up to 1 card with the Revel form ability in its card name from your hand, write it as stand, and it gets drive -2 until end of turn. Or, cost Counterblast 1, choose a card with Revel form in its card name from your drop, write it as stand, and it gets drive -2 until end of turn. Then it also has the effect, auto, when this unit is rode upon during your battle phase, cost discard a card from your hand, choose one of your vanguards, and increase or decrease its drive to 1 until end of turn. Then finally, it has a continuous ability that is continuous when this unit would ride on a grade 3 card with Revel form in its card name, bind that unit that was rode upon instead of putting it into soul. So this is pretty good. It actually loses the like discard 1, look at top 3, and call 1. It's actually a pretty good skill that Youth has, but it makes up for it with that other skill that you discard 1 to basically set your drive to 1. Because for those of you that don't play Youth or haven't played Youth in a while, or just haven't played Youth at all, Sequana, which is a grade 1 that goes to soul to set your Vanguard's drive to 1, was so necessary for the deck. And no matter how consistent Youthberk got, sometimes you just would never find a Sequana. So if you never found a Sequana, your Full Blast would either be 1 drive, or if you went into Tempest, your Tempest would be 0 drives. But now, you don't have to worry about that anymore because Youthberk literally has a skill that basically turns any Revel form you go into having Sequana. That's just a really good part of the skill. And then also, it's nice that it gives you the option of either Revoldressing from the hand or drop. I would say majority of the time you probably want to do it from hand just because it's not a CB, but the option is super nice to have because if you are going second and you really need shield, you can just discard those Revel forms in your hand because you're just going to Revoldress into them later anyways. So this is a really good card, and obviously the binding thing seems like a balancing thing, but it's actually very important for the new Revel form we'll go over in a few minutes. So yes, very good upgrade. He looks badass too. He always looks cool. Next up we have Common, which is Running Beast Fang Sivrind. I don't know. Grade 1, Continuous Regret Circle. If your bind zone is a card with Revel form in its card name, this unit can intercept from the back row and gets power plus 2k, and it's active on both players' turns. Yeah, it's whatever. It's not a good card. You're not really going to play it. Even like a budget build, there's much better stuff to play. The fact that you have to wait basically till turn 3 till you Revoldress. Not even turn 3. You have to wait till turn 4 because it needs a Revel form in your bind zone, which is just really, really bad. So yeah, it's post turn 3, turn 4 to get 2k power and a 5k interceptor is not worth anything. Next up we have Knight of Rebuking, Dual Juric. Auto, when this unit is placed in a Regret Circle, cost counter plus 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose to one card with Youthberk and its card name from among them. Reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Then, Auto Regret Circle. When this unit attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Youthberk and its card name, this unit gets power plus 5k till end of turn. So, this is basically a budget version of Schneisel, which is the first triple rare that Youthberk ever got. And it's not a terrible card, like, on paper, because CB1 to check top 5 for, like, an archetype piece is pretty good. But because the new Youthberk Revoldresses from the drop, you actually don't need to play as many Revel forms as you used to. Top of that, we have Carino, who can also search the Revel forms directly from the deck. So you don't really need a card like this. And the fact that it doesn't give you anything else when you actually miss is really bad. Because like even Schneisel, for as bad as that card was later on, at least it got 5k power at bare minimum. But the fact that this doesn't give you anything back is whatever. And the second skill may seem kind of like useless, but the new Revel form does actually restand a rear guard, and he does keep this power till end of turn. So he actually could be like an Alden for the deck, which is pretty nice. But I don't think this card's going to see as much play. I mean, Youthberk has so many good cards, and there's so many good generics in Keter that you just might not even want to use a card like this. But I could be wrong. Next up, we have a double rare, which is Armor Breaking Knight Duringen. Continuous Regret Circle. During your turn, if your bind zone is a card with Revel form in its card name, this unit gets power plus 5k. Whatever. Auto Regret Circle. When this unit stands by the ability of your Vanguard with Youthberk in its card name, cost counter plus 1, draw a card until end of turn. When your opponent would call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle for the battle this unit attack, they must call 2 or more at the same time. So, this is like alright. I think it's better than like Dalduric, who gives you just a draw, or who gives you just like a top 5 search and you might whiff. This at least gives you a draw. But with the deck already being kind of CB heavy, because I imagine it's going to play Tempest, this isn't that great. And also, it kind of like restricts you on what Revel form you want to go into. It has to be the new one, which granted, the new one is probably the one you are going to go into majority of the time. But the fact that it kind of forces you to do that and forces you to restand this really limits it. And besides, the 5k only activating when you have a Revel form bound is pretty bad too, because it basically becomes a turn 4 effect and not a turn 3 effect. So, a cool card in concept, I just think like it's not as good right now. But here we go, we have the big one. We have Youthberk Revel form Exist. So this is the new Youthberk, new Revel form. It looks super badass, and it has the effect auto. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle by the Revoldress ability, perform all of the following. Cost Energy Blast 3, choose one of your rear guards and stand it. Then the next skill is all your front row units get power plus 10k until end of turn. And if your bind zone has a card with Revel form in its card name, they get power plus 20k instead of plus 10. Then if your bind zone has a card with the same card name as this unit gets critical plus 1 until end of turn. Then it has all the Revel form effects, where it's auto Vanguard Circle at the end of your turn, choose a card with the Revoldress ability from your soul and ride it as rest. So this is pretty good Revel form overall. It kind of gives you what Full Blast does, but with like not a lot of the restrictions. Like with Rebuild, it basically has one drive. You get a restand, which Full Blast doesn't give you, and you get 10k to your front row as opposed to 15k. But keep in mind, this is completely free, not only with just the Energy Blast, but also these two skills are also completely free. It's just 2 of them to get their maximum output are turn 4 locked, which I think is perfectly fair. Like, and if you take everything Youthberk does now, it does 2 Vanguard swings, one of them will always have 1 drive. It does 5 attacks now, and basically has Persona Ride on turn 3. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty damn strong. I don't think I need to go over why this is like a really good Revel form and probably the one you want to go into all the time now. Yeah, it's just good. It's also really good. It could be good in premium. I'm gonna try a little premium build with this and rebuild, because while you can't use the energy blast to stand a rear guard, you can use the plus 10k and plus 20k along with the extra crit, which could be really good when you're doing Marduk plays. But that's just a personal thing I do. I love Youthberk Premium, so I'm glad these cards could potentially see use in like a fun build. As we have the SEC for Youthberk, which looks really cool. Not much to say here. It's easy, like $300. But now we're gonna go over a little bit, just a tiny little thing. We're gonna go over set 6 or set 9. Sorry, I saw the 6 here and I thought it was set 6. Set 9. It's called Super Heroic Explosion, which is another like encounter set. It features units from the Youthquake manga, which is pretty cool. And we have these 3, which are showing up right here. Platinum Ezel is obviously very nice. Going back to Steve, one of our teammates, he's super excited for Ezel. Like Youthberk and then Ezel in the next set is just perfect for him. We have Sibylt, which if you watch the anime, we actually did see what his dragon form looked like, and it looks pretty cool. And it's called Malworm, so I wonder if this is actually going to go into the Malworm state. And then we have this new Dark States guy who I thought was Stoichea at first, but he's actually Dark States, and he's called Funny Amusement Park Full of Sweets Heart Rule. Next up we have these 2, and finally for the set we have these 2, which are the new like Youthquake decks. Makes me wonder if like Mythiarch or Silhouette are gonna get like actual new forms or just like new triple rares and stuff. They look pretty cool. This one's called Celius, and this one's called Berg the Sky Ruler, which is kind of funny because we were just talking about Youthberk Skyfall, but whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today's reveals. Youthberk looks pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being right there with Bob Sargra as one of the best decks in the current format. But let me know your thoughts on Youthberk. Let me know if you think Youthberk is a little too strong. Let me know if you think he's not strong enough. Just give me your thoughts overall. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.